Speaking of can't miss, we're in the midst of prediction weeks. We got another round, Brou. Welcome to day 3 of prediction week. These predictions are set in stone and we will be staked to them for the rest of the year. One caveat for you at home. Any past proclamations heard here about being a member of the Iowa State Mafia should be taken into account when you hear these predictions.
Any home teams I can claim at some point.
Well, yeah,
that gives me a lot of wiggle room.
I'm not talking about you.
A lot of wiggle room.
Particularly, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. We'll predict every division, every award, and every playoff game, and we start now with the basement of the NFC West.
All right, it is odd that last place is actually, in some ways, the second best in the world. But in this case, it is. And last place will be the Arizona Cardinals. They will be in last place in the NFC West. They will be in last place in the NFC. They will be last place in the NFL. That means they will get the best prize of any team all year other than the Lombardi Trophy, which is Caleb Williams. Congrats to them on their next 15 years of pending success. Number 3, the Los Angeles Rams. The best thing they could do, honestly, this year is to throw their 2 games against the Cardinals to prevent Caleb Williams from coming to that division. They're not going to do that. They have Aaron Donald. They have Matt Stafford. I'm not sure how long they're going to have Aaron Donald or Cooper Kupp. They probably should be turning the ship in the tanking direction themselves, but they don't want to do that. They have about $70 million in dead money. The bleep them picks philosophy got them a Super Bowl. Now it's going to get them a few years of trying to have to dig themselves out of that hole. Number 2, but making the playoffs is the San Francisco 49ers. The Purdy regression is inevitable, and it is shocking to me how many people are just all in on this player because of a half dozen good games with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. I don't think that is going to be sustainable. I also, despite the pending scoffs at the table, do not think the football gods are going to smile fondly upon the process of the San Francisco 49ers of abandoning Trey Lance at 23 years old and bringing in Sam Darnold and giving him more hype than you ever gave to a player you were deeply invested in that you never gave a real chance to. Team the football gods, however, will love, and who also the data analysts love, the Seattle Seahawks. They started 2 rookie tackles last year, not only survived it, but thrived. Geno Smith, who a lot of people feel like had not gotten a fair shake yet in this league, finally did as a veteran quarterback and delivered, leading the NFC in touchdown passes. The defense will be even better because they played so many young players, so many rookies last year. They might have the best corner in the entire NFC in Reek Woolen. I think they have the most under-discussed great receiving core in the league. They will always have a good running game, and they have an excellent head coach. Seattle Seahawks get back to the playoffs, Brou, and win the division.
Well, you got the last choice right,
Okay.
the Arizona Cardinals. But I think this is interesting. Are they going to keep Kyler out the whole year? I mean, because if he starts playing, he's going to try to win games, and they might win a few.
Call of Duty game.
And so, that leads to the second question.
Yeah.
How tradable will Kyler Murray be?
You'll get a first
With that contract, with questions about his study habits, questions about how he fits in with his teammates, his leadership, I get that they're tanking, but I just think it's not going to be as neat
went for a first-round pick
think.
Twice. Darnold went for a second, a fourth, and a sixth.
It's not going to be as neat as you think, right? And people learn from that stuff. But just like they learned with a lot of the running backs.
Right.
I mean, Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, so on and so forth. All right, at number 3, the Rams. We agree on that. Aaron Donald, will he get traded? That's going to be the big question. I'm sure he's not motivated. Remember, he almost retired, or that might have been just to get money, but he can't be motivated to play for the Rams right now. So we'll see if he gets traded. At number 2, this is where you go off to. The Seahawks. And you notice I don't have them even in the playoffs.
Oh, that's
because
ridiculous. You
talked about Brock Purdy turning back into a pumpkin. No, it's going to be Geno Smith. He already did it in the last 5. They went 3-5 in their last 8 games. Look at him over the last 5 games. Great early on, but then you get a little tape. You start taking him seriously. You start taking him seriously. Yeah, there wasn't much tape his first, 10 years, 9 years. He was scout team and all that. Let me see that again, Dusty. Nick, you need to look at this. Everything, the
watched
TD
game.
interception,
Yeah.
terrible. The passer rating,
it's not terrible.
It ain't great. It's not what he did last year.
Well,
All
it is last year.
No, but I'm saying the
Count.
beginning of the season, it is.
You know what
coming.
Gino's not going to do to
All right.
Brou?
It's like Trevor
Right
Lawrence
back.
numbers.
That's what he's not. Gino's not going to right
I
back.
don't know if that's in the lexicon.
Number one, I can't believe you don't have the Niners number one.
No,
now
I
I'm
don't.
assuming they get things straightened out with Nick Bosa. They will. But Brock Purdy, I don't see a regression. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but all the weapons he has, all they have to do is stay healthy. Big deal for them. But if they're healthy, come on, man, that defense.
Okay.
That defense is
Coach,
awesome.
you
and
can be the deciding
weapons are
vote.
awesome.
Brou, member of Iowa State Mafia, along with Brock Purdy.
Just
Here's
Iowa
his numbers.
Mafia.
Nick says he was just a flash in the pan, although he did lead in yards per pass, and he did lead the whole NFL in passer rating. Do you think Brock Purdy is the real deal? I know it's a 7-game stretch, but when Trevor Lawrence has a 7-game
Right,
stretch.
exactly.
Trevor Lawrence has had a 7-year stretch.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
What
he
about
was
that?
great.
Sophomore year of high school,
High
last year
school
at
was
college.
awesome.
How was that first
Yeah,
rookie year?
7
Good?
years. No, it ended. It was at college.
Okay.
He was good.
Coach
at Pop
Brock
Warner,
Purdy.
too.
Brock Purdy.
Look, I love the Brock Purdy story, and it's a great story. It's not as good as Geno Smith's story, and your vibes are all off.
Thank you,
But
Coach.
he comes in. They're 8-4. Now, if you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, when he came in, they were 1-10. They both went 5-0 when they started. Brock Purdy's numbers were a little bit better in terms of touchdowns. Interceptions were a little bit better as well. But you're talking about one guy who comes into a team that hadn't won anything versus one guy who comes into a loaded team and plays pretty well. And I'm really impressed with what he did. But I went and watched his touchdowns this afternoon. I watched his interceptions this afternoon.
Yeah.
And a lot of the touchdowns, it's on the stat sheet, it says 60-yard completion,
Thank
but it's
you.
a screen. It says 40-yard completion, and it's a shallow cross. He throws 2 other touchdowns. There's not a guy within 12 yards of the wide receiver.
You know what
That
should
won't
watch
be the
next
case this
is
year.
the-
Debo's going to be better.
Well, I'm saying that he did a good job on a loaded team, but when you look at what Jimmy Garoppolo did versus what he did, it's a little bit more impressive. And the odds of him being able to complete or continue on the upward trend or maintain a 116 quarterback rating, it's pretty small.
have a half dozen dropped. What you know? You should watch instead of his interceptions or his touchdowns, his dropped interceptions. That's a fun 12-minute YouTube video. Guys.
The weapons haven't gone anywhere.
That's okay. Well, that's
The
fine.
play calling hasn't gone anywhere.
This is important and good for the show because since you have abandoned Jimmy,
No.
you have abandoned Russ. You need
I know, I was giving you a
different
layup on
quarterback.
Jimmy.
Yeah, you just threw
They're
Gino
making the
out.
playoffs. I keep it real. I'm about facts, not feelings.
Yeah. So, but we now it is established. Do you have your gavel?
No.
Brock Purdy is Brou's guy. He's your guy. You
Yeah.
want him, right?
Iowa Mafia.
There we
baby.
go. Okay.
I'm not
Dark
saying
horse MVP.
superstar.
Dark
Yeah,
horse
I'm not
MVP.
ready to go
Why not?
there.
Well,
They're going to win the
I'm
division.
not ready to
All right,
go
Hubs is
there,
gonna get
but
mad.
Okay, Hubs,
We
you
got
got
gonna do
NFC
this.
South time. Brady is gone. Carr is here. Baker is back. Desmond Ridder enters his sophomore year, and Bryce Young tries to right the ship in Carolina.
Yep.
Nick, take it away.
Number 4, the Carolina Panthers. Another team like Houston that traded away their number 1 pick. At least Carolina did it to move all the way up to number 1 to get Bryce Young, but he is going to get killed behind a non-existent offensive line. And when he doesn't get killed, he's going to be throwing the non-existent weapons. That might be the worst offense in the league next year. It's going to be a tough opening for Bryce Young. Number 3. Baker can only do so much. They've got $90 million in dead money. That means 45% of their roster doesn't exist. It's going or their salary cap space. Again, there's a cost to buying Super Bowls and buying. I mean, does the Super Bowl even count if it's a home Super Bowl too? Like, I don't even get it.
Oh,
It's
it
not-
counts.
Good for a
it's a little
It
tainted, a
counts.
little gross. But Baker can only do so much. I think Baker will be okay. I think he'll throw to some good weapons, but that team is going to struggle to a degree. Then, the most overrated team in the league, the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints continue to pretend they are in contention, and they continue to kick the salary cap can down the road. So eventually, those chickens will come home to roost. In the meantime, what they're going to be able to satiate themselves with is another 8 wins. Like, okay, that's fine. But at some point, you're going to have to admit you are not in the championship window. And then the division champion. the Atlanta Falcons, led by Offensive Rookie of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year and the pending rushing champion Bijan Robinson, the Atlanta Falcons will lead the league in rushing. They have Drake London, they have Kyle Pitts, and they have the softest division in the entire NFL. I think they can go 10-7 and win the NFC South, and Bijan Robinson can have a Marshall Faulk-esque 2,000 yards from scrimmage.
Wow.
I believe all of that, so there it is.
At number 4, Knicks Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They're not mine. I have them third. They're
Baker,
not mine.
you claimed Baker years ago. He's
like
your
Baker.
guy.
Yeah.
All right, and Baker will not be starting midway through the season. It'll be Kyle Trask, all right?
Okay.
And Todd Bowles, it's going to be a tough year for him. So at number 3, Carolina. All right, you're right. I like Bryce Young, and I like Frank Reich. So I think that's a great duo, but they just don't have much else. His weapons aren't that bad. Chark and Adam Thielen, but the line is tough. And Thielen, I like Thielen. All right, at number 2, the Falcons in the playoffs. I agree with you.
You have two NFC South playoff teams and the Seahawks missing?
Yep.
Wow.
Because the Atlanta is their run game is great, and it's just going to get great. It was great last year.
Yeah.
Top 3 team in the league rushing, and now you add Bijan. He is going to have a great year. I don't know about Rookie of the Year, but he will have a great year. And then at number 1, obviously, the Saints.
I like that.
Like I said, Derek Carr, he's an upgrade. Derek Carr has never had even a top 19 defense.
Not even top
Now
19.
he's got a top 10 defense. First time in his career.
Can I ask
He's got some weapons. Chris Olave. I don't know if Michael Thomas will stay healthy. But if he does,
Can I just ask a question real quick?
And I'm from Louisiana.
So I just want to make sure I understand it. Because Derek Carr, you think he's going to be able to have success a level in New Orleans that he couldn't have in Las Vegas? I just want to make sure I understand.
Because he's got a better defense.
No, but it's not the coaching thing, because I know you were saying the coach, because are you a big Dennis Allen guy? Or are we big on the Saints?
Dennis Allen has had his struggles. Is Dennis Allen calling the plays?
Okay.
They got a new offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Or different
All right,
offensive coordinator. So
everybody loves the Saints, man.
Yeah, they should.
Everybody loves the Saints.
I like Derek Carr.
You like the Saints?
Yeah. I like Baker, to be honest with you.
Oh, good job.
Stop it.
Well, I just want to root for Baker. I want to root for Baker. I don't think he's had a fair shot.
You got feelings for him.
I
but
do.
This is about what really is
Baker.
going to happen on the gridiron.
14 guys on that list. That's Baker's list of head coaches and offensive coordinators. I didn't do the math, but I think it's double Tom Brady's, and Baker hasn't been in the league that long.
I think those would be called excuses.
That's not excuses. That's continuity. It's a reason. Anyways, Coach, give me your outlook on Baker.
Okay, first of all, I'm worried because I agree with Nick on both champions that he chose. So again, that might be a cautionary tale.
Should be worried,
Might be a
Coach.
cautionary tale for anybody who's watching. I think it's going to be hard for Baker. You're taking over for a legend. You've lost your All-Pro center. You couldn't run the ball a lick last year, and you lost your All-Pro center. 25% of your team is rookies. There's a lot of things that he's going to have to overcome for them to be successful.
A bad fit for him then.
But he's fortunate in the division that he's playing because there's no team in that division that just. I like Atlanta a lot, but there's no team that just is a slam dunk home run to win out there. And if Baker gets hot, and Baker can show that he's closer to early Baker than what we've seen here recently, I'm cheering for him too. And
Everybody's rooting for him.
It took me a while,
Root for him.
but I'm cheering for him because he's the underdog now, not because I think
Bijan Robinson, Rookie of the Year?
I like Bijan Robinson a lot. I like a lot of their offense.
He likes running the ball.
Talking about Chris Jones.
I have a bias.
He's not there.
No, he's not there.
That's kind of a big deal.
And the Chiefs win a lot of defense.
Bad
Kind
vibes.
of a big deal.
There's not bad vibes.
A little bit.
It's kind of bad.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.